And it's recording. All right, so we're switching gears. We were just talking about verbs, correct? Right? Okay. What's the other huge part of language? Not verbs, but nouns. Okay, so we're switching gears. The topic that we're going to be talking about, actually, let me make that a little thicker so you can see. All right, our topic of discussion today is nouns and adjectives, the vocative case. Yes?
What is the future, the symbol there?
Between nouns and adjectives? It's and. It's a, do people not do that anymore?
I thought you did and as like the H.
Oh, the ampersand, like the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Actually, I just found out something interesting about this character here, the ampersand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I didn't know and what I didn't tell you is that technically back in the day, like way, way long ago, this ampersand was part of the alphabet. Like it was taught as part of the alphabet. So it was its own character that was taught.
We should bring it back.
I know, we should bring it back. And then everyone can know that it's called an ampersand. You can always make a joke. Yes, I am millennia old. Okay. Now, just let's do a quick verbal review. All right, some baseline definitions. Let's talk about case. Now, Yason had it in yesterday's quiz as a question. Yason, what is the purpose of noun cases? What does it do? Yeah, okay, so case shows noun function. Okay. Now, with verbs, I've asked you to parse before. The characteristics of verbs are, what are the three things for verbs? Maximus. Careful. Tense, person, and number. Okay, so for verbs, the characteristics are tense, person, and number. For nouns, the characteristics, if you can think back. Yeah, so we've got gender, we've got number, and we've got case. Okay. All right, what are my options for gender, just as a review? What are the three possible genders in Latin, even if you haven't technically learned one yet? Yasun? Masculine, feminine, and neuter. Good. Okay. All right, now I'm abbreviating here. Okay, in terms of numbers, similarly to verbs, what are my two possibilities, Augusta, for number? Yep, good. Okay, and finally, case. What are the cases, Valentina?
I was gonna say, like, I was gonna get like a review sheet for the test.
Well, also, so what the fun part about it, like the exercises in this packet, if you're able to we won't do all of them, but if you yourself are able to successfully complete all of the exercises, you should be A-okay for the test. Huh? I didn't teach you all the cases. Did I mention the other cases?
Yeah, I remember what you mentioned.
Far away. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so for case, let's talk about the other cases, right? In Latin, there are technically 7 cases, but we're only going to concern ourselves with 6 for today. All right, they are as follows. Okay, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. Okay, and the other two, I'll give them to you. One of them we're going to need. The vocative and the locative. Mm-hmm. You heard me. And it has nothing to do with raw salmon eaten in cream cheese on bagels, right? Lox. Okay. So here's the deal. Remember, case is used for noun function. Genitive. Genitive. Dative? Dative. Yeah. Those of you who have taken formal grammar classes might have heard these before, by the way. Okay, English does technically use case, but we don't really talk about it unless you're like taking formal English grammar. Okay. Not all of them. English is very limited in terms of. We use nominative and we use accusative. That's different. Uppercase and but good question. They do use the same term. Uppercase and lowercase. That's just like the difference between like capital letters and little ones. So like B versus B. That's case. That's different. But good thought. Okay. So if you see a word in the nominative case, what is the function? Everybody? Good. Okay. So please write that. And if you see a word in the accusative case, what is its function? Direct object. Okay. And technically, I'm going to give this to you here. Object of preposition. Yep. OP. Okay. Now, the case we're going to talk about today is the vocative case. Okay, the vocative case is used for direct address. Not like that. Like if I were to say, Cornelius, how are you today? I am talking directly to you. So in Latin, if I were to translate that, your name would go into the vocative case.
So
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. NDA? Yep. Go, Mrs. Brumler. She is my hero. Okay, so noun of direct address. Now, let's talk about some examples here. So you could, oh, by the way, do you guys remember the mnemonic device to remember the case order? I probably don't remember if I mentioned it. What? No good dogs never die. Yeah. Okay. Well, the only thing I'm not going to talk about VL because, well, you don't need to know. Okay, let's not word it that way. I usually don't include VL because it's not as common. It's not as common as the other ones. Like the locative, you see barely. The place. It's the way to do place. Like locative, location. That's how you can remember. That's different. That's in a prepositional phrase. Grammatically, you don't see the locative very often. There are only a couple of words that use the locative. You would think so, but a lot of the stuff that you read is not often dialogue. You usually only see the vocative case if there is some type of dialogue. Yeah, yes, exactly. Marque sexte. So you did see an example of the vocative, but most often you're going to see like third person singular, and it's going to be like, the girl climbed the tree. The girl cried in the tree, right? The subject is going to be just telling about third person rather than second. But good thought though. Okay, so let's talk about the vocative. How this looks. Whoops. Okay. Let's do it this way. It's like super distracting. Please don't do that. Give me a second. I'm giving you a sentence. No. I'm giving you a sentence. No, let's do this. Okay, so here's your sentence. Cur Cornelia ad urbem ambulas. Okay, now, if we were to kind of like separate this out, all right, we see a couple different cases here. Let's do it in pink, because why not? Okay, now, urbem is a noun, and Cornelia is a noun also. Cur is a question word, ad is a preposition, and ambulas is a verb. We're not talking about those right this second. All right, what case is urbem? What does it look like? What does it look like, Maximus? Yeah, okay, so this is accusative. And it's accusative, why? Because of this. OP, yeah. Okay, now this word here is technically the vocative case. All right, Cornelia is being directly addressed here, directly asked a question. Okay, what's my translation for this? Yason, what do you got for me? Yason. Translation for this sentence. Why are you, walking to the city? Okay, so Cornelia is being directly addressed here. If I wanted to say Cornelia walks to the city, it would simply be Cornelia ambulat ad orbem. Ambulat. Okay, that's how it changes. I don't know. It's just a sentence. What? Like the main person or thing being spoken to. So if I were to say like, oh, water bottle, why do you not have like soup inside? Right? The word for water bottle would be in the vocative case because I'm directly speaking to it. The main noun that's being directly spoken to. Correct. Yeah, the soup is just like, why do you not have soup? It's the direct object of. With the vocative? I mean, the direct address? Okay, that's a good point. So sometimes, let's talk about that. So Jason just said that in English, it's helpful and it's a rule to separate an item of direct address with commas. Okay, does Latin have to do that though? Yeah, originally Latin did not have spaces or punctuation. Punctuation was no spaces either. Yeah, so it was like all capital letters just like written in one line, and you mentally had to go through, but not everybody could read also. So that's like not like you wouldn't just go pick up a scroll and be like, yeah, I can read this. Like not everyone did that. Okay, let's try another example. Say that again?
Do you think there would be more writing from past times if everyone could read it, right?
Certainly. I think there would be more material, and I think the language would develop faster. if everybody could read and write. Like, think about it now, it's kind of expected that everyone reads and writes. And as a result, everyone's using the language more. And that's how it like changes exponentially, as opposed to, and that's how slang also kind of develops as well. It's almost like a dialect of its own.
In the United States, apparently from a statistic a couple years ago, apparently 98% of people in the United States can read and write. So,
How much percent
98.
in the United States could read and write? Read and write what? Did they specify?
English.
Oh, I thought you meant Klingon. Okay.
Fascinating.
Okay, I know this is two, like, things. It's kind of weird. Okay. We've got some nouns here. Sexte and marque. Okay. What case do you think that these two things are? They're vocatives. Yeah, they're both vocatives. Okay. I will tell you that arbore is actually an ablative, but you don't need to know that.
What is ablative?
It's kind of like that all-encompassing case that does a lot more than just one thing. So like whatever the other cases can't accomplish, the ablative kind of picks it up.
So why does locative exist?
The locative exists because, like, for instances when the ablative can't show, because ablative can sometimes show location as well, like ablative of place from which, or ablative of place which. Those are the only instances when the ablative is used, but the locative is for like when it doesn't do that. It's more like, locatives are more idiomatic. Like, you don't see them terribly often. But don't worry, the locative is not something we're going to concern ourselves with just yet. Or if at all, really. Okay, so Marcus, laboratis in arbore. How am I going to translate that? Who's tis? Y'all. Sexte and marque, y'all. So, Sextus, Marcus, y'all labor. Yep, y'all work. Where? No, arbore, non est horto. Okay, in the tree. That's kind of weird, but whatever. We're gonna let it fly. In the field? Yeah, I could have. Okay, so the vocative is just used for direct address, and you're gonna see it with what person? What person? Second person, right? You or y'all. Okay. Now, do you guys remember that chart with the noun endings that I gave you like forever ago? Do you guys have it?
No.
Yes. Okay, so, yes.
Is that laboratis or laboratis?
Yeah. I know, just give me 1 second, 1 second. Okay. You could. No, it's not an imperative. An imperative is something different. It's just a statement. It's like y'all. So like Marcus and Sextus, you guys work in the tree. It's not like me saying. You could see Marcus and Sextus with. You could see the vocative with an imperative, but that's not what this is. Okay. This thing. Do y'all remember this? It's the full thing. There's only one box of vocative. Yeah, there's a reason why. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in here. All right, remember, we're not talking about neuter right now. We're just concerned with masculine and feminine. Now, what's nice about the vocative case, you're probably looking at me and you're like, oh, Miss Slade, look at all these like endings I got to memorize. That's so much. don't worry. Here's the trick. The vocative is the same as the nominative, except for one instance and only one. And that's right here. That's the only spot. I'll say that one more time. The vocative and the nominative are the same, except for this spot right here. Okay? In that particular spot, you're going to write the letter E. Right? So Cornelia in the nominative would be what in the vocative? Cornelia. Cornelius would be Cornelia.
Oh, that's how sex say market.
Sex, yeah, that's why Marcus, right, in the nominative, but in the vocative it's Marque. Okay, not Marcus or Sextus, right? But all the other ones, the nominative and the vocative are the same. Okay, if I wanted to talk to a bunch of slaves, I would say, O servi, with an I, because that's nominative plural. Right, so what you can do, if you would like, is in the vocative, just go ahead and write in everything else. I mean, you can, but it's going to be your funeral. The funeral of your grade.
My funeral, not mine.
That's what I said.
Wait, I'll go back to you because my mom was telling me.
Okay. All right, does this make sense though? All right, the vocative is the same as the nominative except for that one spot. Any questions on that? No? Yeah, I know. I keep an eye on the time.
He's gonna keep us longer, Tim. Stop.
Why would I keep you longer? I don't want that. 83 minutes is enough. All right, does everyone have this somewhere? Okay. All right, in the vocative, just write direct address. Okay, and eventually you'll learn what all of the cases do. Okay, but honestly, the vocative should be the least of your worries. All right, so you'll only ever really see it with second person verbs or possibly imperatives, but usually there's some dialogue going on. Okay, some dialogue, some talking is happening. All right, what I would like you to do is wait, hang on. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Are we okay with the vocative case?
Yes.
Okay.
How about that?
We're not going to talk about